Hey guys, and welcome back to Super Mario Sunshine. In today's part, we'll be dealing with the last of the episodes in Sirena Beach, and then moving on to the final level of the game, so let's do this.
To start things off today, we actually have one of my favorite levels in the entire game.
Ooh.
And it's one of my favorite levels because it's something unique. It's something the other areas in the game don't have, because it's just a mission where you go around and scrub all the graffiti.
Well, it's thematically appropriate, I guess. Are there any twists on this tired old trope?
Well, the graffiti will electrocute Mario if he runs into it, but that's about it.
Man, Shadow Mario really needs to get a hobby. At least one that doesn't involve fucking with Mario.
I think that's about the only thing he can do right about now.
But is it implied that he created Phantom Manta, or is that just something that came out of the ocean? It's like, oh, fuck all hotels, but especially this one.
That's actually not explained as far as I know. I would imagine it's something he created because the Phantom Manta leaves the graffiti behind as it moves.
Yeah.
So I would think that the magic paintbrush was involved with that somehow.
I think we're looking in too deep to this, so are there any prime strategies you can give us for this custodial adventure?
Make use of the barrels, actually. The barrels are really nice for clearing out these little areas right here. The only thing you need to really worry about is you have to throw them for them to be especially useful.
Yeah.
So you just gotta, be able to aim, really.
And you're at the mercy of their range as well, plus they're finite, whereas you can refill FLUDD with water whenever you're near a body of water.
Yeah, it's not a really difficult mission, I would say, unless you're going for a no-hit run, which you might run into the graffiti once or twice.
Yeah.
But just trying to clear things out in 3 minutes isn't really that difficult. And I picked up a random blue coin, which was nice.
Sure, why not? I'll accept that. It's a pretty unique route, but that's what you should expect here at HellfireComms.
I had a bit of trouble with that barrel.
Where the fuck was that going?
The problem I'm having right there is that the throw button and the button to set their barrel back down are the same one. And it differs between if Mario is moving. If he's moving, he throws it. If he's still standing still, he just sets it back down.
Yeah.
So I was just having trouble getting the controls right.
I like to use the hover nozzle to just fly over it, really, but then you have the whole thing of, the hover nozzle has limited timing, so you may end up falling into the electro goop.
Something else I'd like to bring up is, in the original Japanese version of Sunshine, this level's a bit more difficult. It's much more strict about how much of the graffiti can be left before you're done with the mission. A lot of the puddles that I have left wouldn't have been allowed.
Yeah, I think you're allowed in the Western version like 95% complete, or something like that.
I don't know the actual numbers, but that sounds right. He's just standing there waiting for us to go get the rocket nozzle, which is weird because he's about to show up in the hotel as well.
Should I go get a sandwich or something? It's kind of nearing lunchtime. I've been standing here all day just guarding this thing.
He's just staring at whatever that goop on the wall is, too.
And then checks out permanently.
Shadow Mario checks in, but he doesn't check out.
Very nice.
I had to go with the trope there. Now this one is actually one of the easier Shadow Mario chases because it's inside the hotel, and you may have noticed back in Noki Bay when I got him going up the hill, it was easy to just stay behind him and keep spraying him. You could do that on the stairs in the hotel here as well, so this one's actually pretty easy.
That's interesting, because I've always found this one of the more tricky Shadow Mario chases, mostly due to, the confined space and the camera, but you say it's easy, that's weird.
It's easy in the normal mechanics, the things that it adds in, like the boos that will pretend to be Shadow Mario, as you can see here, and the camera being in the very close space really mess it up. But as you can see, I did pretty well on this one, and overall it's one of the easier ones, I would say.
Matt, you had time to take out a boo. I'd call that your personal best.
I've actually got him going up the stairs before. If you get right behind him and just spray him as you continually go up, he's down easily.
Pro tips with the spa, man.
And now he's back here with the rocket nozzle, so it's time to go pick that up.
Oh, thank God. I was wondering when we'd be completing our nozzle collection.
It's strange that there's only 3, 4 if you count the default, but 3 nozzles that you can pick up. The hover, the turbo, and the rocket. I think I've read somewhere that they plan to have more, but thought that it detracted too much from, FLUDD's normal capabilities or something like that.
Yeah, or like overshadowed Mario's need to platform and such.
Yeah. This, I guess I'll call this one a nozzle chase rather than a Shadow Mario chase.
Yeah.
This one in particular is a bit weird. If he runs towards the pillars behind the Gelato Beach entrance, it's really weird to try to hit him because while he's jumping, he can't be sprayed. And while he's standing still, he can't be sprayed. So you have to jump to the platform to get him to move, but by the time you've turned around to spray him again, he's already standing still and can't be sprayed.
He's a bit of a wily bastard, is our Shadow Mario.
So I had to kind of coerce him to go in a different direction, I guess you could say.
I've seen people get up here without the rocket nozzle before. I'm not expecting you to do it in this playthrough, but have you ever managed to achieve that before?
I actually did that during one of my mistakes on this, where I messed up. I wall jumped between the Shine Gate, and you can get up here that way. It's a bit tricky trying to use the hover nozzle for that, because what you do is you wall jump up to where the graffitied Shine Sprite is at, and then you jump up from there, and it's just kind of weird trying to get the right distance.
I'm not really a fan of this level, but before I go into detail as to why, what do you think of it?
Pianta Village is probably my favorite area in the game, because almost all of its episodes, or levels, or whatever we've been calling them, are basically unique. I think there's only one that's required that's a repeat of a previous one. And I was actually thinking about it earlier in that the past few levels, Noki Bay, Sirena Beach, and now the Pianta Village, are very different in that they don't use the red coin missions.
Yeah.
Like a lot of the early ones did. There's no red coin missions in Noki Bay. Well, there's one. It's an optional one where you go into the Noki's ancestral home and you have a red coin fish.
Oh, you mean no story-based ones?
Yeah, no story-based ones. In Serena Beach, there's one in the hotel, but it's timed, and it's also the 8th mission, so it's optional. And for this one, the red coin mission is also optional. So I was thinking the developers were kind of like, maybe we should start throwing some more unique missions in here than just doing red coins all the time.
Oh, I love sassy FLUDD, the best kind of FLUDD, really.
I kind of wish FLUDD would speak a bit more like that, just throwing quips in every once in a while. But maybe that would make him too much like Daxter.
Yeah, and hopefully not Jak and Daxter 1 Daxter, because every time you die you'll pop up with a quip and you can't skip it.
It's not very interesting to see that every time you die in a difficult platforming game.
My reasoning for why Pianta Village isn't a very good level is actually kind of a superficial one and a little bit petty, but this is my playthrough. I'll do and say what I want, etc., etc. I find it kind of boring. It strikes me as more of like a mountainside kind of trope, more than, partially aquatic based. Like Sirena Beach had the ocean. Noki Bay obviously was set in a bay. There's like a few pools of water here and there, and then like masses of bottomless pits all around. It looks cool, just like this village like perched on top of massive trees, but other than that I don't really care for it.
It actually has some of my favorite music, but the music that I like only appears in a certain place in the level. There's a group of villagers that kind of form a band, and if you actually go near them, the music in the level changes a bit, and you have kind of a little acoustic remix of it. And it's one of my favorite pieces in the game.
Oh, I love contextual music.
It's great, and I kind of wish this game had more of it, but I understand why it's kind of only here, I guess.
Shall we reveal Piantissimo's great secret now that we're racing him for the last time?
Yeah, the character model that appears under Piantissimo's mask, I guess, is actually the same as the Ocarina of Time Running Man, or Mailman, if you prefer to call him that.
Yeah.
And it's not really clear, I guess, why Nintendo did that. Maybe they just threw it in as an Easter egg for people to find.
It's like in Wind Waker, if you use the Deku Leaf on the Gorons. Well, that's kind of giving the game away there, but they're Gorons. That's an Easter egg. This is an Easter egg. They're all Easter eggs. Now, that'll be a lesson to your kids. If your sentences fumble and your jokes crumble, just say any old shit and you'll get through it.
So are you sad to see Il Piantissimo leave for the rest of the game?
I'm relieved, because hopefully we've shocked him into doing something more worthwhile with his life.
I was actually kind of disappointed that he didn't return in the Galaxy games. We got something a little different in that one. I think there was a monkey that you had to do races with, or do certain challenges with in that one.
Yeah, that was in Galaxy 2.
Ah, yeah, that's the one. Oh no, we're getting FLUDD stolen at the beginning of a level!
You asshole!
This is one of my favorite levels in the game. It's infuriating as hell. But I just love how unique this one is, because you don't have FLUDD. You have to figure this out on your own. And it's kind of a puzzle where you just have to talk to all the NPCs to figure out where to go. There's a few different ways to do this one, actually. One of the tactics that's used by speedrunners is to jump in the river up here and go towards the center where the mayor is, and then you can use the water that splashes when Mario jumps to clear out the graffiti and make it there.
Ah, I think I've seen that, yeah.
I've tried that, and it doesn't look nearly as interesting as this path, so I'm going the proper way.
Cool, cool. Well, we are a very proper commentary group.
I'm not sure that's the word for it.
I'm not sure either, mate.
If you don't know where to actually go for the proper route, this guy will actually tell you. He's standing right in front of the hole that leads to the underground, which you need to take. And it actually took me a long time to figure this out and to find the correct way to go.
I always thought those spiders as being like Electabuzzers. I think it's just the colouring.
They always kind of look like they had a unibrow to me.
Sure, why not? You see, that's the differing opinions you get in the Mario Sunshine playthrough. Spar likes levels I dislike. I like things that Spar dislikes. That's why we work so well together.
It looks like they have a unibrow because of that black stripe that's like directly over their eyes, and it makes me laugh every time.
This is a very Crash Bandicoot style of platforming.
Yeah, I could see that now. I never really paid attention to that. We'll be becoming even more intimate with the underside of Pianta Village in the next part, and if you played this game, you know what's coming.
Oh my.
That one-up mushroom is actually very misleading. You have to flip the gate that's down there, and then climb up to the top, and as far as I know, there's no way to get back onto the correct path once you've gotten that one-up mushroom.
It's the fucking pizza all over again.
This is the grate that will take us to the mayor once we jump over the fire here.
So he's just safeguarding FLUDD, I guess.
It's more like Shadow Mario was nice enough to leave FLUDD right next to the mayor for whatever reason.
Yeah, he could have just taken that, and then Mario would have to wait like 6 to 8 weeks to get a new one in the post. Assuming they mass-produce them.
We haven't really talked about it, but the little M graffitis, the Shadow Mario graffitis, that you find everywhere, if you spray them down, you'll get a blue coin.
End of video secrets, only here on HellfireComms. Nice job, Spar. That'll do it for today, folks, so we'll see you all next time for more Super Mario Sunshine. See you then.